Okay, let's get our MIDI settings all set up now. So what I have is a MIDI keyboard. Mine is a Rolly C board. It looks like this. This is the small Rolly C board, but any MIDI controller will do. Most MIDI controllers have a couple octaves of notes, and they're actually pretty cheap. Maybe $100-200. It's not a major investment for a decent MIDI controller. This is kind of a fancy one. I wouldn't recommend starting off with this, although I do love it. Okay, so this just has a USB connection, and I'm just going to plug it in right now. All right. So let's go back to our settings. And let's go to link, tempo, and MIDI. Okay, so this MIDI stuff down here is what we're looking at. Specifically, right now, we're looking at this area, okay? What this says, can I make this window bigger? I don't think I can, okay. What this says is my inputs and my outputs, okay? So if you have a MIDI keyboard, you're gonna play in notes. That's all input. That is coming from your MIDI keyboard into live. So that's inputs, okay? Outputs would be live going back to our MIDI keyboard. Now, in most cases, there's not a need for that. Most MIDI keyboards can't receive information from live. Some can, and that can give you some cool features. But if we just want to play in notes, we generally don't have to worry about the output, okay? So let's look at the input. So these are things that Live knows about that I've plugged in either currently or recently. So Seaboard Rise 49, that is not the keyboard I just showed you. That is my other Rolly Seaboard that is a full 49 key. That is like right there. Seaboard Rise is the little one that I just showed you. So I have two of these fancy keyboards because I'm a dork. Sorry. USB MIDI interface, that is my, I think that's my universal audio that can also route MIDI if it needs to. Fishman Triple Play, this is a MIDI guitar actually that I have plugged in. And then my Ableton Push 3 that I have plugged in. And there's two different settings for both of those. Let's not worry about that for now. So first thing you need is your keyboard to show up in this list. If it does show up, that's great. If it doesn't show up, read the manual and see if you need to install any drivers. A lot of keyboards, Ableton already knows about them, and so you don't need to install anything extra, but sometimes you do. So that should get it to show up in this list.